ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणासिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते सप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले स्मृतराधानाथ स्वामी नामिने। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले स्मृति भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेषवादी पाश्चात्य मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्ण। So welcome everyone to our Bhagavad Gita discussion. So hope you all had a very inspiring, nourishing, blissful Radhashtami celebrations yesterday. It's a very special festival. Janmashtami is very special, but Radhashtami is even more special because Krishna's mercy is more easily available on Radhashtami than it is available on Janmashtami. Of course, Janmashtami, in one sense, we can say is a public festival so that everyone can worship Krishna. But Radhashtami is actually, in one sense, a private festival because the devotees of Srimati Radharani celebrate her appearance. So it's a very special, sweet festival within the devotees to glorify the Supreme Beloved of the Supreme Lord. So it's very special. Through her grace, you can actually approach Krishna very easily. And even those who are unqualified, even those who have made mistakes, as long as they take a humble position in front of her, she's especially known to not just overlook and forgive, but to recommend those devotees to Krishna. So she wants that more and more devotees get engaged in Krishna's service. Spiritual world is characterized by freedom from envy. What does that mean? In the spiritual world, there is not a competition like in the material world. I have Krishna more than you. So even though in one sense Radharani has Krishna more than anybody else, because she is actually, in one sense, the better half of Krishna, so to say. But nonetheless, to increase Krishna's pleasure and to engage others, she's always endeavoring to push other devotees closer and closer to Krishna. And in that way, she extends her unlimited compassion. And it is her blessings ultimately which will make it possible for us to approach Krishna, understand Krishna. Of course, 500 years ago, Radha and Krishna came down in a combined incarnation, which is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in that form, it is Krishna who has taken the mood of Srimati Radharani. So that is a super bumper bonus. So the Lord is extraordinarily merciful. That form. So that has actually made our chances of making it all the more easier. So we should take benefit of these wonderful festivals. The Acharyas sing and they say that Madhava Tithi Bhakati Janani. That these days of appearance, disappearance of the Acharyas or appearance of the Lord and various festivities related to the Lord, Madhava Tithi, those tithis which are linked to Madhav, they are Bhakati Janani. They are the mother of devotion. So observing these vratas are not just punya bestowing vratas. Some people say, oh, if I do this, then I will get this material benefit. These vratas are not just vratas which give us piety and destroy impiety. Most vratas are of that quality, but these vratas are Bhakati Janani. They are the mother of devotion. So one must endeavor according to one's capacity as far as possible to observe them by absorbing oneself in hearing and chanting the glories of that particular form of the Lord, praying to them, serving them, making nice offerings, and various ways seeking out their mercy. So many such festivals, I mean, for the last almost a month, so many celebrations from Balram Purnima, because before that was the Chandan Yatra, then the Julan, Balram Purnima. There's a whole host of festivities, practically beginning with Narsingh Chaturdashi, Ram Navami, going down all the way up to Radhashtami. Now there'll be a short break, and then after that we will have the month of Kartik, the not too distant future, Diwali, Dasara. And then there'll be a short break of major festivities, and then there'll be Gaur Purnima in March. So actually you see that, almost, of course, there are a lot of smaller festivals and, appearance days of various acharyas and so many other tithis. So actually, if you see the Vaishnav calendar, you will see almost every 2-3 days there is some festival. Some may be minor, some may be major. So this is a practice. This celebration is a practice to enter into the eternal celebration in the spiritual world. Spiritual world is defined as the place of eternal celebration. The party which never ends. Correct? In the material world, even if you want to enjoy, even if you have money, the problem is our body and our senses have a limitation. And the nature of material enjoyment, it is so insignificant and it is mixed with so much misery that in the material realm, it is not really possible to actually enjoy. But we all want to party. We all are wanting a party which never ends. So that never-ending party is going on in the spiritual world. And in the spiritual world, the party is so intense, so sweet. And for the party there, you don't even have to dance and sing. That, of course, is there. But in the spiritual world of Golok Vrindavan, just seeing Krishna is Netrotsava. It's a festival for the eyes. Because Krishna's beauty is so unlimitedly sweet, mesmerizing, captivating. It is practically impossible for us to describe. At one time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who's the guru of Srila Prabhupada, he's one of, in the spiritual world, because he's come down from the spiritual world into this material realm, he's one of the assistants of Srimati Radharani, one of the Manjaris, the spiritual world. They're very close, confidential assistants of Srimati Radharani. So once somebody asked him about the beauty of Srimati Radharani, and he told that person that if somebody even sees even the tip of the toenail of Srimati Radharani, they will faint because it is so extremely beautiful. And now, if we hear such things, for us, we think this is some exaggerated poetry. Because we cannot conceive all these things. Can you imagine if our toenail somebody looks at and especially zooms in? It will be actually quite disgusting. Even so many of the so-called beautiful actors and actresses, when their makeup is removed, they actually look quite terrible. Maybe many of us may look more prettier than them. So that is the nature of the material world. Material world is very ephemeral. But with Krishna, it is not like that. The more you zoom into Krishna or Radharani, it becomes more and more and more and more beautiful, unlimitedly beautiful. And some of these things we cannot quite conceive with our mind, but we have to understand Krishna is unlimited and infinite. In fact, the acharyas say that Krishna's beauty unlimitedly increases the spiritual world. So another time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who's a manjari in the spiritual world, like I mentioned, was asked, "Oh, how beautiful is Srimati Radharani?" And it is said that he, because he's from the spiritual world, he has seen Srimati Radharani. He just remembered Srimati Radharani and he fainted. Because her beauty is so extraordinary, so extraordinary. It is inconceivable. So the explanation is given is, this is just an approximate hint of to give us some idea of Radharani's beauty. It is said the most beautiful woman on the earth, if she is compared to an average denizen of the heavenly planets, then the comparison of the beauty is as if a lady in this world is compared to a horse. So, comparison of a horse to a beautiful girl of this world is the same proportion of comparing. So, it's thousands of times more beautiful. And it is said the beauty in the Vaikuntha planets of the Lakshmis is thousands of times more than the beauty of the most beautiful denizens of Swargaloka. And thousands of times more beautiful than that is the beauty of Mahalakshmi. And thousands of times more beautiful than Mahalakshmi is the beauty of the gopis. And thousands of times more beautiful than the gopis is the beauty of Radharani. So for us, all these things also, seem so inestimable. And it is true that Krishna is inestimable. Krishna's beauty is inestimable. That is why it is said, and that is what we are going to be discussing in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita today, that Krishna is indeed inestimable. Everything about him is so unlimited. It's just like going to drink an ocean if you're thirsty. Let's say even if the ocean was not salty, we may say, oh, it's salty, I don't want to drink. Let's say it was not salty. If somebody says you're thirsty, go and drink the ocean. What we will do, at most we'll take a cup, we'll take some water, and we'll just sip it and drink a bit of it. How much of the ocean can we drink? We cannot even fathom the size of the ocean, let aside drinking it. So Krishna and everything about him is so unlimited. So unlimited that even Krishna feels that he is not able to properly estimate himself and his power and opulences and beauty. So if there is any problem that Krishna has, this problem is he is not able to fully assess. Even before Krishna can fully assess his glory, his opulence, his beauty, it has already grown. It has become more than what he calculated, correct? Yeah. Like, in this world, sometimes they say that the richest person, whether it is Bill Gates or whoever it was, they are so rich that by the time they have completed counting their money, their wealth has increased. And again, they have to count. By the time they finish counting that, it has increased. So that is just a mundane example. But for Krishna, it just unlimitedly increases. Now, why we have to tell this? This is not all, again, this is not exaggeration. This is actually factual. But it is truly inconceivable for conditioned living entities like us. And this is also to make us humble and to make us understand how glorious God is, how unlimited He is. And that is why how desirable it is for us to develop a relationship with Him. And especially so when He is so eager to establish a relationship with us. It's amazing. It's amazing that He is more eager to establish a relationship with us than we are with Him. Even though we are so insignificant. Because even though God is so unlimitedly powerful, beautiful, wealthy, Shad Aishwarya Sampurnam, Bhagavan. Bhagavan means full of 6 opulences. Full strength, full beauty, full intelligence, full fame, full renunciation. 6 opulences in full. Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashashaha, Shriha. And so on and so forth. 6 opulences in full. And Krishna has these opulences in unlimited degree. So why is he so attracted to us? We may wonder. Now, why we are discussing this? Because 9th and 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we're just about to begin 10th chapter, is all about revealing the heart of Krishna. So we may think God is so unlimited, God is so beautiful. Sometimes we may wonder, what am I? I'm so insignificant. What did God find attractive in me? If we think about ourselves in our present condition, most of us are not even pure devotees. Nor are we extremely beautiful that Krishna will be attracted. Nor are we extremely wealthy or extremely learned or extremely strong. And even if we were the most beautiful, most of any of this, even on this planet, that would ultimately be coming from Krishna only, and that will still be a very small, insignificant aspect of his glory. That again Krishna explains in this chapter. So what is it that is attracting Krishna? What gets Krishna so excited that he's sitting in our heart waiting endlessly, life after life after life, for millions of lifetimes? When will this soul turn around and look at me? This is a very amazing secret. This is the question we should be interested in answering. Because when we understand the answers to these questions, it actually opens up the way for genuine spiritual life, especially the life that we are talking about, the highest of the spiritual life. That spiritual life which goes beyond even the Paramhamsa platform. Even the Paramhamsas are attracted to devotion to Krishna. That is what happened with the four Kumaras. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnava Nama Priyam. The pure devotees, they are attracted to this Bhagavat, and Krishna is attracted to these great devotees. It's so sweet. So that is the secret. The most amazing aspect of creation is how God loves all the living entities. Why? Because they are actually part and parcels of Himself. He doesn't see the living entities as being separate, even though the living entities are eternally separate. He sees them as a part of Him. He sees them as a part of His own heart. They are so extremely dear to Him. And even though the living entities are literally unlimited, to say that they are in zillions is an understatement. And no matter how big a number we take, it is still insignificant. And that many living entities exist. But the beauty is that Krishna loves each and every living entity in a very personal way. And He knows each and every living entity in a very personal way. And is interested in the deliverance of each and every living entity in a very personal way. It is so amazing. And because Krishna is so unlimited, He can give full attention, love, blessings, guidance to each and every living entity for all time to come. It's so amazing and beautiful. And that is what makes this whole process of bhakti so wonderful, because Krishna doesn't become less available because so many others have achieved Him. In fact, Krishna becomes more available. Why? Because we get guidance of so many others who have already attained Him. Because Krishna is unlimited, like the ocean, right? If you invite all your family and your relatives and everybody to drink from the ocean, will you feel worried? Oh, what if the ocean becomes dry? Then tomorrow I'll not have anything to drink. Oh, nobody has to worry about it. Ocean never becomes dry. In fact, no matter how much you drink, the ocean, you will not see any change in the ocean because it's so unlimited. So that is the beauty of Krishna consciousness, that Krishna always remains, ever remains, eternally remains fully available. It's only a matter of us turning to the Lord to reach out. The Lord has been waiting for millions and millions of lives as when we will turn towards Him. The Shweta Upanishad says that on the tree of the human body, there are two birds which are sitting. One bird is busy eating the bitter and sweet fruits on the tree, which essentially means the results of the good and bad activities. This bird, which is compared to the soul, jumping from branch to branch, tasting these various fruits. And there's another bird which is sitting on the branch, another branch of the same tree, who's not bothered about the fruits, but is carefully, intently watching the first bird. Why is he watching? That second bird is watching because it is just waiting. First of all, he's witnessing what the other bird is doing, and he's just waiting when that bird will give up trying to eat all these fruits and turn towards this bird who is actually his close and true friend. So the Lord is situated in the heart of each one of us. He never leaves us, even when we leave Him and we want to forget Him, even though He facilitates that, He never leaves us. He accompanies us, being the Paramatma in the heart. So it's actually so sweet, so wonderful when we understand all this. I mean, then we realize that actually Krishna is so amazing. It's really so amazing. And that is actually the subject matter of this chapter. How amazing Krishna is. What are his opulences? How amazing he is, how wonderful he is, how attractive he is. The word Krishna itself means all attractive. Akarshayati iti Krishna. The names of God are not whimsically given. Nowadays, people, for their children, they come up with all kinds of funny names, most of which are meaningless because they just want it modern sounding. They'll take one syllable from here, one syllable from here. I hope I'm not offending anybody who has done that. But, the point is, as far as the names of the Lord are concerned, each and every name is meaningful, is based on the qualities of the Lord. So Krishna, Akarshayati iti Krishna, the most attractive. Krishna is irresistible. And we discussed this a couple of classes ago when Madan, Kamadev, the god of love, when he came to Vrindavan, when he saw Krishna, seeing Krishna's beauty, Madan fainted. And Madan is so beautiful that what to speak of people on earth, even the heavenly damsels will faint by seeing him. Such a beautiful person fainted on seeing Krishna. That's why Krishna is called Madan Mohan, he who is at the attractor of Cupid. And that is why it is said, if one becomes attracted to Madan Mohan, Krishna, one forgets all his attraction for Madan or materialistic attraction. That's why it is said one should get attracted. The supreme blessing for us will be when we actually develop attraction for Krishna. And that attraction for Krishna is so sweet, so beautiful, that it so fully satisfies the heart that one doesn't seek anything else. And that Madan Mohan was so attractive. It is said when he sees Srimati Radharani, he sometimes falls down and faints. That is why Radharani is known as Madana Mohana Mohini, the enchantress of the enchanter of Cupid. So these are all such wonderful things. So the point is, what we are trying to say is that is the festival we are trying to enter into for eternity. That is Krishna's invitation, where every step is a dance, every word is a song, where Krishna is ever present in his most beautiful threefold bending form, performing very, very beautiful, attractive pastimes with his most loving devotees. That Golok Vrindavan is what we are aspiring to attain, where we can enter into this unending festivity of exchange of pure love of Krishna with his dear devotees. So even in this chapter, chapter 10, Krishna is going to give some glimpse of his glory. The thing is, only when we start understanding Krishna's glory, And that is the reason I am giving all this description. Why I am giving? Of course, no matter how much we try to describe by words, we cannot. But Krishna is so beautiful, so attractive. And Krishna doesn't always reveal that beauty to everyone, even when he appears in this world, because he's covered by his Yogmaya potency. And whenever he does reveal, is extremely attractive. Sorry, I'm just tempted to mention one story from Ramayana, if that's okay, before we start with the verses. It's very sweet. So when Vishwamitra Muni, see, Lord Ramchandra is also the epitome of beauty, just like Krishna Chandra Bhagwan. Lord Ramchandra is also extremely beautiful, extremely beautiful. So it is said that Vishwamitra Muni, when he came to Ayodhya, and I'm going to narrate in brief because there are a lot of details in this pastime. He came to Dashrath Maharaj and he said that, I need help. I'm doing this yajna in the forest. I need the help to kill the demons because they are disturbing my yajna performance. So I need help. Dashrath said, yes, 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 I will come. He said, no, I need help of Ram and Lakshman. And there was this whole conversation where Dashrath was so besides himself. He's saying, oh, Ram is only barely, I think, was he 14 or something like that at that time, if I'm not wrong, 12 or 14 years old. He said, no, he's so small, how he can go, how he can fight. Vishwamitra told Dashrath, you don't know who he is. He didn't tell him directly. He said, I know his power, he can. So anyway, to cut a long story short, Ram and Lakshman went under the guardianship of Vishwamitra and they went to the forest. So it is said when they went to the forest, the day when the yajna was supposed to be performed, early morning, Vishwamitra Muni came to Ramchandra, who was sleeping. He came to wake him up. He came to wake him up. Lord Ramchandra was resting. So, up until that point, Vishwamitra Muni had never really closely observed Ram. The whole episode happened very fast, and he took them and went to the forest. So, as Ramchandra was sleeping, Vishwamitra came close and he looked at the face of Ramchandra. And the Lord was resting. And normally, when we are sleeping, we are not particularly good looking, right? We usually don't want anybody to take our photo when we are sleeping. All kinds of gestures will be there when we are sleeping. Mouth will be open, hair will be scattered. Lord Ramchandra was looking so beautiful. And he was looking at the face of Lord Ram and he was trying to wake him up. And how we woke him up? I mean, nowadays when we wake up, we are, hey, wake up, wake up, wake up. Not like that. He was waking him up with poetry. What poetry? Kaushalya Supraja Rama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishta Narashardulam Kartavyam Daivamanvitam Uttishta Govinda Uttishta Garuda Dvaja Uttishta Kamala Kanta Trailokyam Mangalam Kuru. This is where these verses are coming from. This is how Lord Ram was woken up by Vishwamitra. This beautiful poetry. But the thing is, as soon as he saw Lord Ramchandra, he saw the face of Ramchandra. Ramchandra's beauty was so attractive and so expanding that as he was observing the beauty, he could understand more and more and more how the face of the Lord is so beautiful. He got so lost and absorbed in the beauty of the face of the Lord. And he was trying to wake up the Lord. And it is said, all that could come out from his mouth was Kaushalya, Kaushalya, Kaushalya. He was feeling so choked by seeing that beauty that he couldn't go up beyond that first word. And I think, I don't know for how long, probably around 45 minutes, he was just absorbed in seeing the beauty of the Lord. And the only word he could say is Kaushalya. He couldn't even go to the next word, Kaushalya Supraja Rama. Because his beauty was so extraordinary, even for Vishwamitra, who was such a great Brahma Rishi at that time. So that is the kind of festivity we are talking about, which is eternally going on in the spiritual realm. Okay. So all these things are important for us to understand so that we know what is it that awaits those who actually accept this path and work sincerely to attain pure devotion to the Supreme Personality of God. So the 10th chapter, the Lord begins by telling Arjun, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Tuya eva Mahabaho Shunu me Paramam Vachah Yatteham Priyamanaya Vakshami Hitakamyaya. Arjun, please hear once again my supreme instructions to you. I am now going to give you knowledge which is even deeper, even more profound than what I had told you earlier. And I am telling this to you because Priyamanaya, you are very dear to me, Arjun. And that's why I want to give this very deep secret to you. Because I am really wishing well for you. Vakshami hitakamyaya. And this knowledge is even deeper. Why is it deeper? Because at the end of the 9th chapter, Krishna has said, 9.34, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. He gave those 4 special instructions. Now he wants to help Arjuna by giving him more specific knowledge by which it will become easy for Arjuna and for all of us to follow this instruction. Because for most of us, it's very difficult to directly perceive the Lord. Vishwamitra was fortunate, he could see Ramchandra directly. The gopis were fortunate that they could see Krishna. Of course, Arjuna also was fortunate. But through Arjuna, the Lord is telling all of us that how we can appreciate the Lord's opulences in this world, how we can see his extraordinary beauty, his extraordinary power, his extraordinary intelligence, and so many wonderful opulences in this world, his vibhutis, by which we can always able to remember him, by which we can fall in love with him, by which we can always humbly submit to him. Man mana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So I am going to tell you that Name viduhu suraganaha prabhavam cha maharshayah aham adirhi devanam maharshinam cha sarvashah. Krishna is trying to tell Arjun, Arjun, please understand that my glories and my real nature is so difficult to understand. Please understand, even the devatas and the great sages are struggling to understand me. Do not think that they can understand me. Because I am the source of the devatas and the maharshis also. It is not possible for a created object to fully understand its creating source. What the Lord is trying to say is, Arjuna, without my very, very special mercy, it is not possible to understand me. It is not possible even for the devatas. It is not possible even for the great sages because I am their source. I am the one have to make it possible for them to understand. Yomam ajamanadim cha vetim lokamaheshwaram asammudha samarteshu sarva papai pramuchyate. And knowing me as I am by my grace is no ordinary achievement. Those who understand that I am unborn, I am beginningless, I am the Supreme Lord. The Devatas have a beginning, the Maharshis have a beginning, all elements have a beginning, but I am the only one who's the Anadi. I am the only one who's the Supreme Master, Maheshwaram. He who understands this, asammuda, undeluded. What does undeluded mean? That they are not confused. Is Krishna God or Indra God or Brahma God or this person God or that? They are very clear. What is Krishna's position? Yo mam ajam anadim chaveti loka maheshwaram asammuda samarteshu sarva papair pramuchade. Such a person becomes free from all sins. What that means is one who understands Krishna's transcendental position and his supreme lordship over everything, he becomes free from all sins. Understanding Krishna is no mean attainment. If you remember in the 7th chapter, in the beginning of the 7th chapter, Krishna says, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yadpi siddhe. Yadampi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. Out of thousands of people, hardly one is interested in spiritual subject. And out of thousands of people who are practicing spiritual life, hardly one understands me as I am. Because understanding Krishna is possible only through Krishna's grace. Swayam eva vrunute, the Upanishad say that only if God reveals himself to someone, they can understand him. It is not possible for those who are trapped in the material realm to force their way into the domain of God and understand him and capture him by their understanding. It is impossible. God has to make it possible for him to be understood. And even that, we will get a glimpse of him. We can understand him in truth, but in quality only, not in quantity, because God is unlimited. There are many beautiful points, but I'm going to go through faster. So please read the purport. Then Krishna explains how he is the origin of everything. He just mentioned, I am the origin of the Devatas, I am the origin of the Maharshis. Then he says, the next two verses, actually next three verses, he explains first how he is the source of all material qualities. So even if we say that certain personalities have certain great qualities, Krishna is saying, please understand, Arjun, I am the source of those qualities. Buddhir jnanam asammoha kshama satyam dama sama sukham dukkham bhavo abhavo bhayam cha bhayam evacha ahimsa samata tushtis tapodanam yasho yashah bhavanti bhava bhutanam matta eva prathag vidah. Understand that these are all created by me, all these qualities: intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, sense control, control of mind, happiness, distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame, infamy. All of these qualities are created by me. And not only all the qualities, of course, each of these qualities has a detailed, lengthy description. Prabhupada in the purport gives for each of these qualities what is the understanding of that quality. If we go into that itself will take us one class, just discussing those details of those qualities. So I'll strongly encourage you to read, because it's very wonderful. What is the meaning of control of the senses? What is the meaning of freedom from doubt? What is the meaning of ahimsa? What is the meaning of equanimity, samata? What is the meaning of tushti, satisfaction? What is the meaning of tapa? What is the meaning of dhanam? Very wonderful. What is actual fame? So very beautiful. So please read that in the 10.5. So he says, all the qualities come from me, Arjuna. Please understand how I am Ajam, how I am ultimately transcendental, the source of everything. And also all these personalities, Maharshis and the Devatas, how they are coming? Maharshaya Sapta Purve Chatvaro Manavastatha Madbhava Manasa Jata Yesham Loka Ima Prajaha. The 7 great sages, and before they were born, the 4 Kumaras, and also all the Manus, the 14 Manus in the 14 Manvantars, all these who are the progenitors of this world, because this world gets populated through these 7 sages and the Manvantaras and their descendants, isn't it? If you remember, we are discussing that in the Bhagavad, how Swayambhu Manu's descendants are populating world, how the 7 sages married the 7, the daughters of Devahuti and they produced children. So we are in the process of discussing all that. Krishna is saying, please understand, these all entities who are producing other living entities, who created them? Manasaha jataha. They have been born from my mind. Of course, through the agency of Brahma, and then from there, ultimately the power is coming from the Lord. So the 4 Kumaras, the 7 sages, the 14 Manus, all coming down through Brahma, all of this is coming through Krishna. And they do not know fully who is their source. If you remember when we discussed the Bhagavad, even Lord Brahma, when he got created, he was not sure where he came from. He was looking around, up, down, he went up, darkness in all directions, not knowing, Arey, main kaun hu? Who am I? Who created me? Until he was given just the information of tapaha, perform austerity. Then he performed, he meditated on the mantra that he was given, and then divine knowledge was revealed to him. So it is not possible by one's own effort to understand, even for Lord Brahma, what to speak of others. So what Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna here is that understand how I am so beyond, how I am ultimately the source of everything. It is not possible for anyone to understand me. Etam vibhutim yogam cha, etam vibhutim yogam cha mama yo vetti tatvatah so avikalpena yogena yujjate natra samshayah. Understand, Arjuna, that my opulence, my power, my position is so extraordinary. He who gets even some idea of my true position, one cannot fathom fully, but at least to some idea he understands my position as I have just described. He will, without any hesitation, definitely take my pure devotional service. So avikalpena yogena yujjate. Say, wow, Krishna is so far out. Like we say in the Narsinga Pranam. To Narsingo, Parto Narsingo, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsingo, Bahi Narsingo, Hriday Narsingo, Narsingam Adim Sharanam Prapadya. He's inside, he's outside, he's here, he's there, he's in my heart, he's everywhere. So one comes, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, one just falls in love because he understands, wow, how can I not surrender to him? Kamba Dayalum Sharanam Rajim. For his power, for his sweetness. So he who understands etam vibhutim yogam chamam yah vetti tatvatah sa avikalpena yogena yujjate nasti na atra samshaya. There is no doubt. So what does this mean for us? It means that if we invest proper effort, time, attentive hearing, contemplation to try to understand these glories of the Lord, these vibhutis of the Lord, as are revealed in the Gita and Bhagavatam, what will happen? We will fall in love with Him and we will surrender to Him. What does that mean? The process of developing love for God is by continuously hearing His glories and singing His glories. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoho. And then you fall in love. And then when you fall in love, what happens? Smaranam. Always you'll remember Him. So when Krishna says, Man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru, that will become natural when through hearing the glories of the Lord, when we understand His glories from the mouth of the great souls, we will be so attracted, we will so much fall in love with Him that man mana bhav mad bhakto will become very natural. Right now we are trying to practice. I have to do this. I have to remember. Oh, I forgot God. I have to remember. That's good. Right now we have to do that, and that's good. But as we develop deeper and deeper understanding, our attraction to Krishna will become more and more, and it will become firm. Then remembering Krishna will become so much more easier. Then the next 4 verses, Krishna summarizes the Bhagavad Gita very beautifully. Verses 10.8, 9, 10 and 11 are known as the Chatushloki of the Bhagavad Gita. What does that mean? That the entire knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita is summarized in 4 shlokas. The entire philosophy. 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, 10.11. Each of these verses we can discuss for 1 hour. But we have 8 minutes. Okay, and some of you are waiting for your dinner, waiting to go to the kitchen. So that's all we can do, because right now we are only taking appetizer. So you have to go into these verses deeper and deeper and deeper. And the more we study, the more we hear, we'll be able to appreciate more and more. So I'm going to give you a brief understanding of these 4 verses. Let's see, if needed, we can discuss a little bit more next time, but let's just quickly go through them. It's very beautiful. In 10.8, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam udha bhava samanditaha. Krishna in this verse establishes his position. So he's essentially summarizing what he has explained in the earlier verses, says that when people actually come to the understanding that I am the source of everything, material and spiritual. Just now we explained, right? All qualities come from me. I am the source of the devatas. I am the source of the maharshis, everything. Matta sarvam pravartate, everything comes from me. Iti matva, understanding that I am the supreme source of everything. Bhajante mam. Udha, intelligent people who understand this real nature of mine fall in love with me and worship me with great love. And they just worship me with all their heart and they engage in devotional service. Again, reiterating the same point that we just discussed. That love comes when we hear and understand the glory of the Lord. In the next verse, Krishna describes what is the activity and qualities of those who have fallen in love with him like this. So first step is Krishna explains who becomes devotees. So the answer is those who understand Krishna's glories truly become his devotees and fall in love with him. And what are the characteristics of those who fall in love with him? Krishna explains, Machitta madagata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. He says that those who are my devotees, what do? Machitta, their minds are always absorbed in me, and they are always continuously talking to each other about me. They're discussing Krishna and they're enjoying it. That is the party. That is another festival. Discussing Krishna is another festival. Seeing Krishna is one festival. But sometimes one cannot see Krishna always. Even in Golok Vrindavan, one is not able to see Krishna always. Mother Yashoda, she sees Krishna in the morning and Krishna in the evening. During the daytime, Krishna is herding cows in the pastures. Nobody can see Krishna all the time. The cowherd boys see him during the day, but not at night. The gopis see him at night, but not during the day. So different groups of devotees get to see him sometime. But one thing is common. All these devotees of Braja are always connected to Krishna and relishing Krishna by always being absorbed in discussing Krishna Katha. Bodhayanta parasparam, kathayantascha mam nityam, tushyanti charamanti. They're always enlightening one another about me. And tushyanti charamanti cha. And in that activity itself, they find their supreme satisfaction and happiness. For devotees who are attracted to Krishna, there is nothing more satisfying and more tasty than discussing about Krishna. So this is the symptom of those who are actually Krishna's devotees. So we should measure ourselves against this barometer. If we think we are devotees, then we should see how much we are meeting in percentage terms with this verse 10.9. Machitta, madagata prana, that their lives and souls are given to me. And how is that symptomized? How is that visible? They are always engaged in talking. They get any chance they want to talk about me. In fact, this is what happens throughout the day in Gokul or even in Nandagram when Krishna has gone to herd the cows. Throughout the day, whoever is left in the village, throughout the day, morning to evening, while Krishna is not there, they are just Tathantaschamam Nityam Tushyanti Raman. Oh, Krishna did this yesterday. Who did this? You saw his dress. Oh, his dress was so beautiful. You saw the way he was wearing his belt and the way he has his turban. Oh, and that beautiful drawing on his forehead. Wow, it was so beautiful. Yesterday was wonderful. Today was even better. And that itself, they can go on discussing from morning to evening, just remembering that, relishing that, and feeling such deep relish within their hearts. Now, unless one is a devotee of the Lord, if you hear this kind of a talk, you will say, what is the sentimental nonsense you're talking about? And this is precisely the point, that unless one becomes a devotee, one cannot understand this. How amazingly wonderful and beautiful this is. And that is why this is the hallmark of a devotee. Machitta madagata prana bodhayanta parasparam tathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti ramanti cha. That's a Prabhupada. And when he was asked, Prabhupada, what is the symptom of a person who's a pure devotee, a guru, a spiritual master? Prabhupada said, he who is most addicted to Krishna, he is a guru. Addicted means he cannot stop talking about Krishna. It's always change topic, he'll come back to Krishna. Just addicted to talking about Kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Then, having described the nature of these pure devotees, Krishna describes how he helps such pure devotees to come back to him. He says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Those who are continuously connected to me like this, worshipping me with devotion, like this means as described in the previous verse, always talking about him. He didn't say always meditating in yoga. He didn't say going to Himalayas. He didn't say tapa. He says those who are continuously talking which means essentially saying Shravan and Kirtan. Tesham Sattva Yuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. What do I do for them? Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. You may say, oh, they are sentimentally talking. Of course, it's not sentimental, it's a spiritual transcendence, but someone may think, oh, they are not discussing great knowledge, they are not discussing Upanishads, they are not doing this. How will they achieve supreme realization? Krishna says, Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam. I give them the intelligence by which they can come to me. They don't have to worry. If you remember, Krishna already spoke about his insurance policy earlier. All you have to do is love Krishna. All other things are taken care of by Krishna, whether it is material needs or spiritual needs. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti. How they will reach me is my problem. Buddhi yogam. Buddhi yogam means full Krishna consciousness, where the intelligence is fully absorbed or fully fixed in the goal of Krishna consciousness and the desire to attain Krishna. Buddhi yoga is not different from bhakti yoga. And then Krishna in the 10.11, he explains how he deals with such devotees, how he guides them and how he helps them to attain him. Tesham eva anukampartham aham ajnanajam tamah nashayami atma bhavastho jnana dhipena bhasvata. Because they are always engrossed in discussing about me. To show such devotees my love, my compassion, I, Krishna says, when I'm dwelling in their heart, and I see them like this, always absorbed in talking about me, from inside their heart, Nashayami Atma Bhavastho, Jnana Deepena Bhasvata. I light the lamp of transcendental knowledge from within their heart. They don't have to do anything. I will light the lamp of everything will become known. All spiritual things will become known to them because I will destroy the ignorance in their heart. Nashayami. Aham ajnanajam tama nashayami. I destroy with the burning lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So Krishna says the destruction of ignorance and development of knowledge is again my job for them. What they have to do? Keep discussing about it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. They'll talk about my pastimes and they will talk about my appearance, my activities, my qualities, my devotees. They'll go on and on and on discussing, and that's all they need to do. If they're just enjoying and relishing and finding satisfaction in that, I will take care of destroying all the ignorance in their heart and giving them all the knowledge and the intelligence by which they will attain the supreme destination. So beautifully Krishna is describing the highest process and how the highest goal is achieved. The highest knowledge, the highest process, the highest goal, and how the highest goal is achieved. Everything is beautifully described in these 4 verses. And that is why these 4 verses are known as the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita. Chatushloki means 4 shloka, the summarized version of Bhagavad Gita. So there is so much more deeper meaning in all these 4 verses, but I'll request you all to read through the verses and the translations and the purports again and again. And again, through these 4 verses, essentially Krishna is again revealing his heart. And what is his heart? You just love me and I will take care of everything else. And this is the recurring theme. And that's why we go on saying that bhakti is the process, not so much about trying to advance, but bhakti is the process of trying to love Krishna, and Krishna will work on your advance. It's so beautiful because the bhakta is so dependent on Krishna, like a small child. Like a small child, right? Krishna, the mother and the father will feed the child, will bathe the child, will dress the child, because the child is so dependent. All the child has to do is just surrender to the parents, and the parents will do everything. So the Lord's relationship with the devotees is like that. So all this knowledge should help us to become attracted to this beautiful process. So beyond this particular point, actually, we have barely completed not even half the chapter. But we just completed 11. There are around 42 verses. But never mind. The next few sections are also very, very beautiful and interesting. So we're going to take a pause here. It's already 10:06. So thank you very much. I'm going to open the floor for any comments or questions. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्री श्याम सुंदर भगवान की जय, श्रीमती राधा रानी की। Any questions or comments? Okay, good. So just one or two quick points before we end the class. So one is for the Bhagavatam class, I have sent a survey link on the WhatsApp groups. So I'm expecting each and every one of you, meaning not all those who are hearing. If there are 3 members in your family, then all of them to fill that, because that is a feedback for me to understand various aspects of what you like, what you don't like, and some feedback around it. So please make some effort. It'll take 2 minutes. If you haven't do, please do that immediately after the class. Some of you have, I think some 8, 10 have, but so many others haven't. So if you haven't, just quickly fill that. It's in the WhatsApp group. You can just go and see there. And that's fun. And the other thing is, I had announced last week that this Sunday onwards, coming Sunday onwards, we'll be starting another class for discussing the practice of bhakti. So Wednesday and Saturday, we are discussing the theory. We're discussing what is explained in Gita, what is explained in the Bhagavad. Of course, we discuss practice, but we discuss it, in principle. We are not discussing the details of how we are going to put it in our life, how exactly it is to be executed, what are the challenges we face in those, whether it is related to sadhana, whether it is related to observance of vratas, how we worship the Lord, what are the challenges, how we deal with it, behavior of devotees, being in the temple, how we deal in the temple environment, about festivals. So many practical aspects which are important in the overall culture and practice of Krishna consciousness. So that is also a very important aspect for those who want to seriously make advancement in spiritual life. So those who are serious sadhakas or wanting to be serious sadhakas, I will request you to also join that group. And again, I'm not going to insist everyone to come. It is your choice. If you want to take the step to get closer to Krishna, that is the choice. Of course, some of us may think that, already I have this and this class, that class. Why one more? So I'm going to do only fortnightly, not every week. Do not make it burdensome. But again, please remember what Krishna said. Tathentascha mam nityam tushyanti charamancha. My pure devotees never get tired about discussing and hearing about. So we should never think that, 2 hours in a week is, if that is the case, I mean, that's okay. Even 2 hours Krishna appreciates. But the point is, there is no end to how much. So the more we are attracted to Krishna, the more we'll make advancement. So we are extending this opportunity to learn, so that those who want to make serious spiritual advancement can go more deeper into the practical aspects. Of course, these ones are especially for those who are not trained. Some of you are already initiated for many years, so some of you will already be familiar with various aspects of the practice. So for those devotees, it is optional. You want to come. Of course, for everybody, it's optional. But for those devotees, it may not be so essential if they are very familiar. But if they want to revise, they are also welcome. But for those who are relatively newer, it is highly encouraged. And I've created another group for it. So I'm not adding all of you by default there, because I want you to make that choice or whether you want to be in that group. We are intending to do those classes on Sunday evening. So let me know. If you want, you can directly message me and then I'll add you to the group. Okay. So please remember these two things, the survey, and if you want to be added to the group, you ping me and let me know and I will add you to the group. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.